There's no doubt that Mustang is one of the most iconic names in the American car history, and this is a 2022 Ford Mustang Convertible. I got it rented for one of my business trips. I'm here in northern Georgia at the Highlands, enjoying this beautiful terrain, but I decided, since I haven't done the convertible yet, to review it for you. So today I'm going to take you on a complete tour of this vehicle. We're going to check it out from the inside, outside, take it for a spin with the top down so you get to enjoy it with me. But before we get to this part of the video, guys, my name is Matt here on Matt the Car Guy. I post 2 car reviews every single week. So if automotive content is your thing, please do me a favor, check out the rest of the channel. If you like it, consider subscribing. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Now let's get back to this. Even though there's a lot of buzz about the new and upcoming 2023, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen the reveal that Ford did just a couple days ago, really. Now, this is still a pretty cool looking vehicle in my book. Now, this is towards the base model. So this is the premium, this is the EcoBoost. And let's check it out what we have. I like this long hood. It really is pretty cool, especially as a design. You can see those air extractors. Now, I'm not sure if they're real. It doesn't look like it, but I'm going to open the hood and show you that. But they create this pretty cool design, the pattern on this vehicle. It also looks more masculine and definitely adds to the aggressiveness of this vehicle. Now, if you look at this front setup right here, okay, I have the lights on, and you can see those 3 stripes over here. Those are the daytime running lights, and then you have the projector LED beam over here as far as your headlights setup. And then these, normally that's where the fog lights would be, right? But they're just the regular turn signals, basically. Now, at the bottom of here, you have this air curtain that allows more air to go through for better aerodynamics and better performance. And right in the middle here, you have this unmistakable galloping Mustang logo right here. This is all open, allows for more air to get inside of this engine, cool it down. Bottom right here at this splitter, this is kind of the matte black with white with the rest of this vehicle. Now, Mustangs don't have to have these huge engines to be cool. Let's pop it up and let's see what it is. This is the base engine available on the Ford Mustang for 2022, and that's a 2.3 liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder inline-4, as you can see, engine that produces 310 horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque. It has made it to a Ford's 10-speed automatic transmission. As you can see, the placement of this engine is pushed back, to allow for better weight distribution on this vehicle. And, it does not have an engine cover, just like most Fords don't, so you can see everything is exposed right on top of here. Now, as far as the heat extractors, there actually are holes right in this hood over here, so they're probably functional, at least semi-functional. In here, there's some hood insulation, and there's this ugly prop stick. So come on, Ford, I hope for the next generation you're going to go with the hood struts, just like most of the manufacturers do. As far as the side profile, it's pretty aggressive. It's sporty, right? But it's also a muscle car profile, so it's a little bit wider in the back. It sits down. It looks really, really good. Now, on this particular one, we have the 18-inch rims, kind of a two-tone, two-color, the piano black with the silver right on top of it. And those are Pirelli P0 Hero all-season tires. And as far as the size of it, you have 235 by 50 on the tires. Pretty cool-looking one. This particular one is also equipped with the smart entry system, in both doors, so you don't have to actually press any buttons on the key or on the door itself. It does have the smart entry system. Matter of fact, this one locks itself too when you walk away, so it does have that feature. As far as the mirrors, you do have the blind spot assist over here. Tops of the mirrors are in the same color as the rest of the vehicle, and the bottom ones are in this matte black color. And of course, the drop top right here, I'm not gonna even put it up. The weather's so beautiful, there's no point of doing that. Let's move on to the back. So Mustangs have been around since the 60s, and you can see the connection to the 60s Mustang right here in those rear tail lights over here. They're pretty cool. Those are the 3 LED lights on each side, and they look cool. They have the sequential turn signals when you turn them on, so you can see that. There's the third brake light that's built inside of here. And there's a little kind of a decklit spoiler on here, and then you have this antenna for the XM radio. That's your regular antenna over here. Again, the Mustang logo. You do have the rear view camera, and then if you scroll down over here at the bottom portion of this bumper, it's matte black, but then again, it is pretty aggressive as far as the exhaust. You know, a single exhaust on each side, not as aggressive as the 500 series, the GT, or any of the other more performance Mustang, but still pretty cool looking. And then let's see if there's any room for anything inside this trunk. Let's walk up on here. I gotta tell you, it opens nice and tall. It doesn't have a lot of pass-through. If you want to put something inside of here, here you go, there's a focus. But it does have some room once you get in. So, I mean, it fits a suitcase or a couple of suitcases fairly easy inside of here. And then you do have the spare tire, temporary spare tire if you need it to. And that's pretty much it. Checking the sound on the closing door on the convertible doesn't really do much purpose, but we're gonna do it anyways. Boom, it closes. Fairly solid, but again, it doesn't have that top frame, so I mean, it's gonna make some other noises in here. But I want to point out a couple things. First of all, if you look at the back seat, all right, the good news is there are 2. The bad news is not everybody can fit in here. So, and the passenger seat is adjusted to my uncomfortable position, but I could still make it happen, right? So maybe if I really wanted to fit in there, my knees would be squashed, my feet would be kind of underneath the seat, but I could make it work if I needed to. Now I'm 6 feet tall. Now, if I wanted to sit behind me in the driver's seat, forget it. So unless you have kids or somebody that's much smaller, you probably won't fit them inside of the back seats. We'll take a look at the door panel over here, and then we can see it does have a leather wrapping over here, and I'm glad to inform. Now, I've done the Ford Mustang a while ago, and I was actually touching all of these elements, and they were kind of this hard plastic that produced this hollowy sound, especially when you closed the door, when you actually started driving. It just wasn't really pretty. Now, they've done some improvements. I'm not sure what year that was, but for 2022, we have some nicer door panels than it was before. Now, what it has here is the general setup. So you have the lock, unlock, window mirror controls, and then you have the speaker covers, 2 of them, a little bit more storage at the bottom of the door. Now, what's pretty cool is you can't see it right now, but it actually projects the Mustang logo on the ground when open. Very cool at night. Also, this Mustang on the door sill, that's illuminated, and that's moving on to the seats. Fairly nicely contoured. Again, this is not the most comfortable seats that I've sat in, and I've driven this vehicle now for probably about 300 miles. So it could be a little bit better, but they do have on both driver and passenger side, they do have the power controls. Let's jump inside. Let's see what else is here. Well, the interior of this Mustang's, well, you know, far from perfect. It is better than what it was before, especially as far as the quality of the materials used. And I actually like the overall design of it, the feel of this vehicle, the look of it. It's really, really great. We're going to talk about driving in just a little bit. But first of all, so you can see this. This is covered in this vinyl material. It's pretty cool. It's kind of a simulated stitching over here, Mustang logo. I do like this polished aluminum trim over here. The round vents in the middle, square on the sides, and then you still have on this model. Now, I know the higher end models have the fully digital dashboard now, but on this model you also have just a regular traditional dashboard. Now, on the left hand side of the steering wheel you have the light controls, as well as you have the dimmer switches for it. On the steering wheel itself, it's fairly good to the touch. It's pretty sporty, right? It doesn't have the flat bottom, which probably would be nice to have, and does have a bunch of buttons on both sides. So this one right here is the volume button, and does have the mute button. This is for your cruise control, this is for your phone, and this is what's going on in the middle screen. So where you start this vehicle is actually right at the bottom here. There's an engine start stop button. I'm going to start it right now. And there you go. So first of all, driver door open, let's close it, and let's see what we have. So traditional setup, on the right hand side you have the speedometer and the fuel gauge, left hand side you have a tachometer and the temperature. Right in the middle, you know, this vehicle's got 5,400 miles, so almost brand new. And right now it's set up to project the speed on the middle screen. But there's other stuff that you can actually project. So you can have the gauge mode, right? We can see what it can project, the tire PSI, air fuel ratio, boost vec, cylinder head temperature, inlet air temperature, engine oil pressure, temperature, all kinds of stuff that you can choose from, which is pretty cool. Distance to empty, 270 miles. Settings, display setup, my key, my color, gauge color, ambient light, it's on, ambient color, my color is not adjustable in daytime. All right, but there's a there's a lot of setup that is available in here. Driver assist, let's take a look at this because that's important. So you have the drive alert, pre-collision assist, cross traffic alert, lane keeping system. I gotta tell you, I've been driving this for few days now, and this lane keeping system, it's too sensitive in my opinion. Just any deviation from the lane, that's going to result in you kind of trying to panic because, oh, I'm getting off the lane. So I'm not my favorite thing. But track apps, okay, acceleration timer, accelerometer, brake performance, line lock. Now we're looking at a 4-cylinder engine. I'm not going to do any of that, but this is in track only. Trip fuel gauge mode. So I mean, you have some customization in here, which is pretty decent. Now over here you have this infotainment system, and it's a pretty large screen. I think it's a 9-inch screen on here. We've seen this system before. You know, we see my phone is connected right here. We'll go to the home screen, which is this one, and you have your temperature, outside, time, compass. That's basically your main setup. If you go to audio right here, then you have a different sources, AM, FM, Sirius XM, or you can play through your radio. Climate control, here's your settings. There's other way to control it as well, but you know, I can change it right here at the bottom. That's the other setup over here, or I can do it on the screen itself, which is pretty cool. Different menus, max AC, max front windshield defogger. Then we go to phone. Okay, my phone is connected, apps, mobile apps, settings, you know, so this is your general settings over here. It does have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. One of the things that I found, and it's probably not the car, it's probably more the phone or the Android Auto system itself, it is really finicky as far as trying to find the right cable to connect it with. So, you know, it's a USB-C cable, and if I hook my phone up to it, this particular cable is actually not for the phone, it's for one of my cameras, but you know, it's the same setting, so it connects, and the Android Auto system, and actually hit it over here, and then you can see I can actually have navigation and everything, or if I really wanted to go to the main screen, I can listen to my radio messages, any kind of settings that I need for my Android Auto. So I mean, it's nice that they have it. Just make sure you have the right cable, otherwise you're going to be scrambling for it. There's another cable that I had before that's for something else, and again, USB-C, but it didn't work. So they're not kidding when they said use an approved USB cable for your phone. All right, so scrolling down here, you have some shortcuts over here. You have you know, some of the configurations as far as the sound settings, and turn this whole thing off, play, pause, repeat, etc. You have your tune knob, volume knob, power knob over here, and scrolling down here, really nice, especially in the hot weather. You do have the ventilated seats, you have the heated seats. That's where you adjust your temperature control and all the rest of the controls for the climate control. Now again, I'm not too fond of where these buttons are, where the switches are, because they're right in front of the gear shifter. So you have your hazard lights, traction control off. You can steering wheel, adjust the steering wheel as far as the feel. You can have normal, sport, or comfort. I'm going to put it in sport. Actually, I found that to be the most compatible with me mode. And then here's your modes. Okay, so I'm going to move this up to the instrument cluster, and let's see what modes we have. So you have a normal drive mode, sport plus, track mode, drag mode, and snow wet. So those are the modes. And I've done it in Sport Plus. Actually, it's pretty decent. It's pretty cool. Probably my favorite mode. But, you know, cruising around, regular mode would be good too. Moving down over here, you have the USB port as well as you have the gear shifter. So regular gear shifter, you put it in the drive mode, or you can put it in the sport mode, which is down below over here. Now, is there ability to switch gears? And I don't see any. I mean, there's no pedal shifters on this vehicle. There's no shifter over here. So I guess this is only an automatic transmission. Now, you do have the regular brake, okay, which I know a lot of people on the higher performance ones would like, you know, for drifting, etc. 2 cup holders and just more storage over here. Pretty cool. Now, one thing that I gotta show you, since this is a convertible, I want to show you how this top closes, and it's really easy. So all you do is basically you push this button towards the front, and the top goes pretty quickly. I'm not sure, I haven't measured it, but there you go. And all you have to do is pull it and actually lock it in place, and then you're done. It does it up to a certain miles per hour. I'm not sure what that is. I'm gonna actually keep it open. It's a beautiful weather outside, so we'll get to enjoy driving it without the top up. And this is the interior of it. Let's actually take it for a spin. Ready to take this vehicle for a spin. Pretty excited. It's a beautiful day. We're going to enjoy it. Now, as far as the pricing of the vehicle, Mustang starts at about $27,000. The way that I looked it up on Ford's website, this particular one in the convertible with the premium package would be about $37,000 or so. But, you know, Ford makes it really confusing sometimes when you don't have the actual sticker of what equipment is on this particular one. So unfortunately, I won't be able to list everything on here. However, if you go on Ford's website, you can see that they start at about $27.5, and they go all the way up to almost $100,000, depending on which Mustang you're gonna go with. So there's a little bit for everybody. So I know generations grew up on driving Mustangs, and if you wanted one, you can start off with the regular one and then kind of build your way up from there. And that's really what the CEO of Ford alluded to when they were actually doing the presentation of the 2023 Mustang. So without further ado, let's take it for a spin. We're going to use a little bit more off this front camera over here so you can enjoy the scenery with me. Now, I've driven this road before yesterday, and it does have some windy turns, so we're going to take this car through its paces, well, of course, as far as the handling and within reason, and see how this vehicle performs. So the first things first, you know, when you start this vehicle up, you know right away that this is not an 8-cylinder engine, right? You know, it is something a lot smaller, so it doesn't have that growl that a lot of people are accustomed to when seeing a Mustang. Now, if you get that GT, you get the 5.0, of course, that's a different story, but we're talking about the regular 4-cylinder motor, so just don't expect that, you know, when you get in this vehicle. Well, now, when you hit the accelerator, you can hear it a little bit more, and I want you to hear also what I'm saying other than just looking at the road. So I'm gonna close the windows here, and hopefully that's gonna be a lot better. So once you're driving, you're gonna hear a little bit of that growl in here too, which is pretty cool. And let's take it on this beautiful road. There you go. It's pretty capable. It's pretty peppy once you get it going. You know, in that sport mode, this vehicle handles really nice too. It is a little bit stiffer, and it's a completely different driving dynamics than it is, especially if you have it in the comfort mode. Those turns and the steering wheel, the way it feels, you know, like I said, I've driven this vehicle on this road yesterday, and it was completely different. I had it in the comfort mode, so yeah. You know, in this open road, 72 degrees outside, it's beautiful. You have with the windows extended, there's really not too much wind coming into the cabin. Now, of course, unless you get on the expressway, that's a little bit tougher. Now, I was driving with this vehicle with the top down yesterday through downtown Atlanta at 97 degrees outside, and I tell you what, this was not fun. But on the day like today, totally perfect. So one of the good things about the Mustang Convertible, if you're not sure if it is for you, there are plenty of rental car agencies that actually rent them, so you can take it for a day or two or three and enjoy it and see if this is something that you were expecting from this vehicle or not. You can't do it with a lot of other ones, but I'll tell you a funny story. Okay, really quick. So my initial vehicle was a mid-size sedan, and they were out of this, so they go like, well, do you want a sports car? I said, sure, I'll take a sports car. So they gave me this 2019 Chevy Camaro that was just horrible. It had 60,000 miles on it, the front suspension was banging, the roof didn't work, the air conditioning worked halfway, and I called them up and they go like, listen, I appreciate the upgrade, but this is really not an upgrade, this is a downgrade. You gave me a beat up car, so in exchange they gave me this, which is much better. So I really appreciate them putting the effort in and getting actually be something that I enjoy driving. But this wasn't something that I actually originally planned on having, but it worked out good. So now, as you can see, this is a beautiful windy road that feels really good. It's really tight on those turns, but that's got tons to do with the mode that you're in. So let's say I'm going to put it in the comfort mode right now, in the normal mode, what they call it, right? And this car starts being completely different dynamics, especially in the steering wheel. It's got a lot of play in it, and it's not as precise as it is while you have it in the sport mode. So I'm just switching it to the Sport Plus mode. There's no question about it. I like the sound of it that it makes. I like how the steering wheel adjusts. I'm not sure what other adjustments are made to it, but probably the response of the engine, and this is pretty cool. So guys, this is it. This is a 2022 Mustang. I don't know when I'm going to be able to do the 2023. I know they just unveiled it, and probably going to start hitting dealerships sometime next year. So thank you very much for watching. I really enjoyed making this video. I really enjoyed driving this car for the last few days. So if you guys like watching videos like this and automotive content, check out the rest of my channel. I hope you like it. And if you do, give it a subscribe. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and turn that bell notifications on so you don't miss any of the videos that are coming up. And with that said, I'll get to enjoy this Mustang a little bit more. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.